if you don't recognize what this is, this is one of them things that it sits out in your yard and you pour water into it and you pour a bunch of money into it. I recently got this one and it has a bad leak, so we're gonna see if we can figure out how to fix the leak. Reason I'm taking the sides off, it's I think they're made out of like plastic. They're brittle, so you look at them the wrong way and they crack. So I figured take all the sides off. Okay, the sides are all off. It has a leak. Well, one leak I've found, I think. It could have more, so that's another reason for taking all the sides off. There's about 1,000 little pipes and tubes inside these things, and they're all completely encased in styrofoam. There could be other leaks though, so that for that reason I want to kind of get a lot of the styrofoam out and make sure there's no leaks before I put it back together. Fortunately, being the hoarder that I am, I have 2 5-gallon buckets full of the this 2-part crap that you mix the 2 parts together and it foams up and makes more styrofoam. So I've got enough to easily redo the whole tub. The cracked pipe is right about as far as I can reach, so the only way to access that pipe will probably be from the bottom. Now this bottom, it's just like a big boat. It's a 1-piece plastic and it's screwed up with a bunch of Phillips head screws. It's screwed up through into the 2x4, so a whole bunch of screws got to come off, but it has to be up in the air or hanging off the trailer because otherwise I won't be able to reach the screws. Yes, it is exceptionally dirty, and you can probably see the ice particles floating in there, and it's actually frozen. It's still cold here. I'm not going to clean it until I fix it, because that's just a bunch of work. I don't want to make it nice and clean and shiny and then not be able to fix it or break it when I take it off the trailer. If I break it when I take it off the trailer, then basically it's garbage. It's just good for parts. But as you can see by all these jets, every one of those jets has a line going to it, a water line. So it is just a spiderweb mess of water lines underneath this thing. The more jets you have, the more places you're going to have potential leaks. It was a high-end tub at its time. I know the neighbors, I believe they paid around $16,000 for this thing. So I guess free is a good price. However, factoring in all the money I have to put into it to get it to work, I figure I should come in just around $1,500, maybe just a little under $1,500 to buy the wire, the breaker, new lid, and a few parts to fix it. The fixing it part is actually going to cost probably almost nothing in comparison to everything else. Here's where I'm at. Before pulling it off, the tub off of the trailer, I figured I would try to get at the leak as much as possible and pull as much of that foam crap out as I can. In doing so, I noticed a few things, and I'll see if I can get the camera in here to show you. I think I've found a relatively easy way to fix this. However, I will be sacrificing, I think, like 12 jets in one section. I'll show you which ones if I go for the easy fix. I have a little bit of time to think about it, as I have to try to disconnect some pipes without breaking them. I have a little bit of knowledge when it comes to like PVC pipe, ABS pipe, that kind of crap from in the past when I used to do a lot of electrical work. So I think I can get them apart. You only learn from doing, and you learn a lot more when you make mistakes doing things, because you don't want to make those mistakes twice. So let's see if this works. I'll show you what the plan is and what actually went on down in here. Where it broke couldn't have been much of a worse place, I don't think. Okay, I don't know if there's enough light in here to show you or not. Brr, it's cold. The sun went away and it got cold out. Okay, so let's look in here. Okay, you can probably see a bunch of red lines going into a broken pipe. Now that pipe is what's called a manifold. It just ends down there, and there's 12 lines, I believe, that come off of that little manifold thing. And what happened here, I think, is a design flaw. Because if you drain this tub and let it sit over the winter, you're not going to be able to drain the water out of that manifold. There's nowhere for it to come out. So the water would just sit in there and freeze and crack. So I'll show you up top now where these 12 lines go and what I would have to sacrifice. See, my plan is just to cut this 90 right here. If I cut this 90 and put a cap here, it gets rid of all those 12 pipes, which I would have to plug all 12 of them. But plugging them might be easier than putting a whole new manifold in. The manifolds aren't that expensive. I think to your door, it would probably be like 30 bucks to get one. So I may do that. We'll think about it while I'm cutting the pipe. Now, looking here, you see there's 14 jets. And this is the part where you lay down and those jets would be blasting on your legs. Yeah, in the past, I've been in this tub once, and I seem to remember laying in this spot. And the problem with that is when you're laying down underwater and you got jets blasting upwards on you, it tends to just make you keep floating up in the air. So it kind of sucks anyways. I think I can live without those jets. Wife said she could live without them too. So, I mean, we still have a ton of jets in here anyways. So I might just not hook them ones up. We'll see. Let's get to cutting the pipe. I'll cut the pipe and then I'll come back to you. I may show cutting the pipe just so you can see how to do it or how not to do it. We'll see, depending on how it works out. Now, for a bit better look at the pipe that I would have to cut, well, this is it here, but I have to get this part off of here without breaking it, because I need to put a cap on there. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to cut the pipe. I'll show you how I'm going to do it. These pipes, though, once they're glued together, it's almost like they become one. They kind of weld themselves together. They melt. Something to do with the glue. It melts the pipes together, so it's extremely hard to get these off without messing something up. There is ways, though. Okay, so when cutting this pipe, I'll just say right now, you're going to want to cut down lower, because you're going to want some meat here. All around here, you're going to want some meat to grab on with pliers or something. So always cut less off, because you can cut more off later, but you can't add to it. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to take a hacksaw in here and cut through that pipe. For this particular job, a sawzall would be the thing to use, but seeing as how I'm a peasant and I don't have one, I'll be using the same method they would have used 100 years ago if there was hot tubs 100 years ago. I'm going to use a hacksaw. Now this cut doesn't have to be even, because that's why I'm cutting it extra long anyways, and it just doesn't matter. Now I have to cut a slit somewhere in this pipe. It has to go from here down to here, like that, without cutting the inside pipe. You just want to cut this collar that's on here now. You don't need to necessarily cut all the way through it. Basically what you want to do is create a weak spot. I got most of the broken manifold out. See, this is a separate manifold. There's just two hoses on it. Then it carried on. That's the end. It was closed off. It carried on like this. And there was a bunch of little hoses coming out of here. The chunk of plastic is still stuck in there with the hoses on it. So if I opt for not putting this manifold in, I have to plug all these little hoses. However, can't really get at them. So options: flip the tub over and rip all the foam out of it, or option number 2, put a cap on here, plug the holes from the top right at the jets, call her a day. I think we're going with option number 2. The next part here, and the more dangerous part, is trying to get this collar off of here without messing up the pipe underneath, because you need something to slide the new collar onto. So, or the plug onto. So let's try to put a slit in it. Easiest spot would probably be around here, and move on to the next step. I won't torture you with this, but this is how I have to try to put a slit in it. Cutting it like this. I've kind of put a slit in that pipe now. I don't know if it's deep enough, but next tools, needle nose, and this thing here. Not necessary, you could use a normal screwdriver, but I happen to find this and it looks like it'll work better. And this heat gun. You don't want to breathe anything that comes off of this this pipe, because it's yucky and it's harmful. You want to try to get the outside of the pipe without melting the inside too much. It's coming off bit by bit. Okay, so I got 75–80% of this thing off of here. Now I got the hard part to do, the back side. This is the one with all the small lines running in, and there's like 10 of them, I think, or something, I don't know. But then this one here, see, I could just add this one and it adds the 2 more jets on. I guess I could just put another 90, put one of them back on and plug her off at the end, and those 2 would still work. I don't know, maybe I'll do that. I'll go see if I can find one of these fittings. I'm at this point where I want to take some of this dirt out. So, because the tub is in pieces right now. Corks. Big corks, little corks. Gotta have a lot of corks. I think this video is gonna have to be multiple parts. It's just gonna be way too long. If I do get it running properly, I'll probably just fill it up here on the trailer, make sure it doesn't leak, and then I will make a video of installing it, from wiring it in the panel to burying the wire to making a flat place to put it. So yeah, multiple videos. Thanks for watching.